All right, welcome, welcome, welcome. I told you this is extra special day for us, man, here at Video Mix, because not only do we have the brother Dice Raw, but we got brother Phil, who is the writer and director and one of the masterminds behind The Last Jimmy. You know, you were just telling me, brother Phil, about last name.
Brown, Phillip Brown.
Phillip Brown, brother
Brown.
From Philly. Phillip from Philly, right?
Yeah.
So Philly Phil is in the building, y'all. So you were just telling me going back to, you know, you and Dice going back to high school.
Yes.
And that's when you did your first play. You know, I remember hearing Ice Cube saying that John Singleton told him, look, man, writing a script for a movie is not much different than writing a song.
It's
you
not,
know? Talk about that process a little bit and how The Last Jimmy came about for all of those writers that are out there, man, and your process.
Well, so my process was simple. Dice and I, we go way back to high school. I wrote my first play called Beat Down the Negative.
Okay.
And it starts with a desire to want to touch the community and uplift and inspire our people. Okay. And so just like a hip hop song, an artist sits down, thinks of a song that they have to share and spit for the brothers and the sisters in the community and spread the message of inspiration and unity, like KRS-One, like Public Enemy, right? And you sit down, you're like, how can I touch my people through hip hop and deal with social issues, deal with politics, et cetera, et cetera. Well, the way a hip-hop artist sits down and approaches that work is the same way a writer for a play sits down and starts crafting a story. You first have to have a desire, a call to reach a particular demographic, a particular audience. What do you want to say to your audience? And my audience has always been inner city youth, hip-hop culture. Right. And so when Dice shared his album with me, right? The Last Jimmy.
Woo! Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, new Jim Crew. Jimmy's back. I reached my lifetime limit on life.
You know, the new Jim Crow. It touched me deeply because it was dealing with incarcerated black males and how many families have been destroyed by that, how our communities have been destroyed by mass incarceration. And Dice took it a step further where he was the voice for all incarcerated African American males to me when I heard the album. And was talking from a place of, you know, being targeted and being seen as an animal, being seen as something less than human, and how vulnerable he sounded, you know, on the album. And so when Dice shared his first ballad with me, "Am I an Animal?" When you look at me, what do you see? An animal? Well, that struck a chord with me. You know, it touched me so deeply because that's every black man's experience. It's my experience, whether you know it or not. In America, so many times we are seeing people lock their doors. They'll take their purse and put it on a different arm. You know, they'll put the close sign up. You see, and it makes you feel less than human. If you don't know who you are, right, you feel like, wait, what have I done to you? Why are you afraid of me? So that questioning your own existence. So I said, you know, and the ballad is so beautiful and so poignant. To me, I could envision a whole story around just that character, the black male being deemed as an animal in America. And then it went a step further. Well, how do we change that narrative? Do we have the power to change that narrative? We absolutely do. So even the brother that feels like he's perceived as an animal, he can transform his mind, right, and his heart, and write a new script, a new narrative for not just himself, but for his people and his community. So in listening to the album, I said, well, how can we reach all of the brothers who are incarcerated, the black community, and say, you know what, we're going to take back the narrative. We're not going to, and we are going to through the power of choice and self-will, okay, redefine who we are.
Right.
Okay? And that starts first with, and I have to just keep it 100 because most of us have suffered growing up in a one-parent home. Right? The loss of a father, right? Abandonment in early ages. So it starts with reconciliation.
Right.
So we have to reconcile and forgive our fathers, right?
Okay.
In order to not carry that burden of anger and resentment and pain that we then turn back and express to our brothers in the community. And I think that was a big part of it. And if we're able to do that, if we can forgive our fathers. And,
you know what?
Yeah.
Tell them right there, because one of our biggest populations that watches Video Mix, it goes directly into the prisons. There's a huge population. It's dangerous to try to change the channel when Video Mix is on, okay?
Wow.
So you could tell them right there exactly what you're saying.
Well, so the power of forgiveness is real, and one of the most poignant moments of this play is when Jimmy, who is the last one to be incarcerated, we come to find out that much of the life of crime that he's lived in the anger in his heart is a direct result of not having his father in his life and feeling abandoned by his father. And so he's challenged with forgiving his father. And in that moment, when he forgives his father for not being there for him, it's almost like he takes the power back. He takes the pain is gone. He realizes that now he gives even his father something to live for, because his father, who's incarcerated, can now feel free and not have to wear that burden of not having a relationship with his son. And so that's the start of building family, which then bleeds out into community, and then that's how we can unify again and become strong and become healthy again. And this is all around how mass incarceration has destroyed the family, and that's why that piece is so important. Yeah. We can't keep demonizing the brothers who've made mistakes and or who got caught up and trapped up in the penal system, right? And they weren't there for us as young people. We can't hold that anger towards them. You dig what I'm saying? So
I feel you.
That's a major theme of the play.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, in the theme of what you just said right there, we're gonna be right back on the other side of this video. I think this is a perfect time to, let's keep it on the old school. Let's go into Ed O.G. and the Bulldogs, Be a Father to Your Child.